What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Predictions in the building. I will be breaking down Brian Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. This is a great fucking fight, y'all. I love this fight, man. A lot of animosity, a lot of hatred, and just a really good matchup. But let's look at the stats. Brian Ortega comes in 14-1. Fights out of California, age 29, a height of 5'8", and a reach of 68. No, 69. Korean Zombie, 16-5. Fights out of South Korea, age 33, height of 5'7", and a reach of 72. So he has the reach advantage in that. In terms of notable wins for T City, Brian Ortega, you're kind of looking at like Renato Mocanho, Frankie Edgar, maybe Clay Guida. Is it Clay? Oh, Cub Swanson. I almost forgot. Cub Swanson. So you're kind of looking at those three guys that he really beat. Kind of got him famous. He has a really interesting, story to me. In terms of how I got to know him, I saw him. I think it was a Clay Guida fight. Really, he was a fight. Through his build up to the title shot, he was a really fun fighter to watch. But I just didn't see this next generation of MMA that everyone was saying he's the next guy, he's the next this, next that. And I don't know if it was a combination of Ortega with all the weight cut issues and him missing out of fights and him missing a whole year, but people really was on this Ortega hype, and he became, I think, a favorite in that fight. And I was just sensing that like Hollywood was gonna fuck him up, man. It wasn't that there was animosity between those two guys, but it was just like Hollywood had something to prove. He really did in that fight. You could just see the anger of like, you doubted me. You thought this guy was gonna beat me. So, it is what it is with him, and he beat the shit out of Ortega. But before that, he looked like a world beater, man. He shocked me. I did not think he was gonna do that to Frankie Edgar, so I'll give him that. But in terms of notable wins for Korean Zombie, you're kind of looking at maybe Frankie, Dustin Poirier. But in terms of recent ones, Frankie, Renato Mocanho, Dennis Bermudez, yeah, and I had Dustin Poirier in that one. And the guy's rise through the division and stuff like that, and his like fights with Leonard Garcia, man, in the WEC, like he became super famous, and obviously that's helped him in his run. Do I think there's a bias towards I think what they say Asian fighters or something like that? I don't think so. I think it's just, I don't know, but I think with him, I think some people have said that about him. I don't know if that's true, but I think he's truly good. He's a truly good fighter. So I don't think that's a fair thing to say about him. One thing I did find interesting, actually, when he lost to Yair Rodriguez is he got a Renato Mocanho matchup, which was interesting. I thought they would have gave that to Yair Rodriguez. I don't know if Yair said no or what happened, but he fought Renato Mocanho. And Mocanho at the time had an inflated ranking. He was like number 5 in the world, and they kind of was able to get Korean Zombie in that number 5 spot. So I find it interesting that Yair fought Jeremy Stevens, who's number 7, and Korean Zombie fought Renato Mocanho, who's number 5. That's kind of interesting, as just kind of look back at history. But the guy is he does have a good resume though. Like he can't. I don't think there's a company backing. Maybe there is, but he's earned it. I'll say that. But but really, I doubted him in the Frankie Edgar fight. I learned my lesson the hard way. He knocked Frankie the fuck out, and he taught Frankie a valuable lesson. And man, he had the speed. He had like Godspeed that day. He hit 2 hooks on Frankie, and he slipped his head. Like that's the interesting. If you look at like some old fights of his, he doesn't use no head movement. And like now you can see in the Renato Mocanho fight, he slipped the punch and connected with the right. It seems like I know a lot of people are making fun of Eric Albina. They call him Captain America. Henry Cejudo's coach, Costa's coach, their wrestling coach. But ever since he's gotten with that guy, he looks like he's gotten a lot better. And I ain't gonna lie, that guy, results speak for itself. And I still have a lot of faith in that guy. So it is what it is. So yeah, I think we're done talking about the records. But yeah, this is a great fight, but here's what it comes down to. Honestly, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. they don't like each other, man. They don't fucking like each other. I don't know when this started. It really, I think it started when Yair Rodriguez fought Jeremy Stevens on that Mexico card. Apparently, Korean Zombie wanted to fight him on that Mexico card. Wanted to fight him in front of all his people or whatever. And I guess it never ended up happening. And I guess Korean Zombie was talking shit on the internet. But it wasn't really Korean Zombie at the time, I think. I don't know if this is confirmed, but I don't think he's tweeting these things out. I think it might be that translator. But we'll talk more about that translator. So, then they actually they're scheduled to fight on that Busan card, I think. And then, Ortega got injured, and then Frankie came in and saved the day. And, hey, I thought on paper that was a good matchup. And he ended up making it look easy. And he had a wonderful performance. And basically said, I want the title shot, Ortega's scared to fight me and this and that. And he didn't say that. His translator said that. I don't know what, maybe he did say that, but basically he was talking shit. And then I think was it UFC 245 where they're watching the fights, him and his translator, and he's like a K-pop guy, Korean. He's a singer. I forgot his name, but Jay Park or something. I don't know. And I guess Ortega went up to him, slapped him, and Korean Zombie had cut. No, he didn't cut, but he had written something on his Twitter, which was one of the most illest things I ever read in my life, where he just was like, I don't even care about the title shot. I want to fight Brian Ortega. And I don't know if he's writing this, but he was like, all I see is blood. I'm coming for you, and you gonna die, or something like that. And it was so hard, and it was a killer line. And he's been going off on Twitter. He's probably one of the funnest guys to follow on Twitter. And then also he said, I remember when Volkanovski fought Max Holloway, he was like, Volkanovski's the most shameful champion. I'm ashamed to be in the same division as that man. Don't worry, y'all. It won't go 5 rounds with me and him fight. So he's been kind of entertaining in this new role. He's 33 right now. He's, I think, at his prime. He's hit his prime, and he's realizing that it's now or never. He has to go. Like, if he wants a belt, he has to go get it, and I think this is his best opportunity to go get a belt. But with Brian Ortega, I know a lot of people have been kind of ashamed of the actions that he's been taking, and at the end of the day, he did what he had to do. He had to slap the guy. It's just funny that he's taken 2 years off and won't fight at all. But he was ready to fight some goddamn K-pop singer, so I find that interesting. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. What is he ranked, actually? Let me see the ranking of Brian Ortega. I didn't actually talk about the rankings. And he hadn't fought for so long. He's like, what, number 4, right? He's number 2 in the world. And Korean Zombie is number 4. That's crazy. I almost forgot to add that in. But yeah, so back to the top. He hasn't fought in a minute. And I know a lot of people are ashamed of the way he's been acting. Here's what I got to say about that. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's making this fight way more interesting. He's adding more heat to this fight. And if he's trying to go out with a bang and be like, you know what, I'm probably going to lose this, I might as well go out having fun. So I don't know if this is what it is, but I just it's really interesting the way he's been acting, and how it's so interesting how the fans have turned on him. And it's like, you can look at some of my older videos. I think, is it still on my YouTube? That's the question. Is it still on my YouTube? Let me look for it. I made a prediction. I'm positive it's still there. No, it's not there, actually. Never mind. But yeah, I had posted something really back in the day in high school, where I predicted Max Holloway. But man, I'm telling y'all, bro, the hype for Ortega was insane. I don't know if it's the Mexican support or whatever, but they love that kid. So it's kind of interesting to see the fans now kind of turn on him. It's hard to say, do I feel bad or whatever, but I don't know. He got what he deserved. Max Holloway put it on him, so I didn't feel bad for him. But yeah, but let's get to this fight, man. Here's what I see. I'm gonna keep it simple, man. in the striking, it's just, Ortega has decent boxing. He goes forward. He likes to use the shoulder roll, and he likes to get his shots in. But if you look at a lot of his fights, especially the Clay Guida fight, the Renato Mocanho fight, even the Cub Swanson fight, he's a slow starter. You look at those fights. I feel like he lost the first round. Well, he didn't lose the first round of the Renato Mocanho fight. I think you could kind of give it to him, but that was a close fight, and I thought Mocanho was on his way of winning that fight until he took him down. He's a slow starter. I think that's just what you can see. Even in the Clay Guida fight, he got dropped in that fight. Go watch it. It's on UFC Espanol. You can find it. And he's an incredibly slow starter. And I understand Clay. This was UFC 199, Rockhold Bisping, and I think Clay was 34. But Clay was on a 2-fight losing streak, though. I'm positive he was on a 2-fight losing streak before that fight. He was not ranked, so I don't give him that excuse, right? He looked good in that fight, man. He was winning. Bro. I swear to God. Yeah, he lost to Thiago Trout. Actually, he wasn't on a 2-fight losing streak. He was on a 1-fight losing streak. Like he was in his last 3. He was 1 for 2, so I guess I can't even be too mad at him. But yeah, like he got dropped by Clay Guida in the first round, and that was a real drop, man. And Clay shouldn't be dropping you like that. And I get it, Clay was 34, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Yeah, even in the Cub Swanson, I thought Cub Swanson was really doing well. He kind of busted his nose up, and that's what I noticed. And even that's what I noticed in the Max Holloway fight. If he doesn't clinch up, he's not even a great, he doesn't, I'll talk more about the wrestling, but, if he doesn't clinch up or get situations that he's a lot like Anthony Smith, I'll compare him to. He's very good. He's very opportunistic, right? Renato Mocanho takes him down. He submits him, right? Cub Swanson's in the clinch with him. He gets the guillotine, right? He has a lot of opportunistic situations. Right, in the fight against Clay Guida, he did something great where he was setting up the uppercut. The corner work was great, and I think he has great coaches too. He has great coaches. I'll give him that. The corner work in that fight was great. Go for the uppercut. And then he was kind of setting him up with the uppercut. And then Clay Guida started to read that, and then he started throwing knees, and I think he was gonna win a decision. I think it was 2-1. But he threw one of them knees, and he fucking knocked Clay Guida out. That shit was brutal. That was it. And they had a good fight. But it was competitive. That's the problem. If you look at a lot of these fights, they're competitive. Right? He's not way better than these guys. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if Korean Zombie had a longer fight with Renato Mocanho, it would be competitive. But he didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. And you got to look back at that Renato Mocanho fight. If Mocanho did not go for that takedown, he probably would be a winner right now. I honestly believe that. He was doing so well in that fight. And, yeah, he got caught. He got caught bad. He went for a takedown. That was dumb. That was the dumbest thing he ever did in his life. Shouldn't have done that. And he got caught up. And then Cub Swanson. Cub got beat. I truly believe Cub got beat. Cub, there was no catching or nothing. He did good in that fight. He was just a better grappler than Cub. He was taking him down. He was just bigger. And that's something also, he's been bigger than a lot of these guys. And there's not a big height difference between Ortega and Korean Zombie. It's like a 1-inch height difference. And if you look at that Frankie Edgar fight, Frankie was just not, they were just two different human beings. And that's the thing. I think he got mad about being called a slow starter. So he kind of started really fast in that Frankie Edgar fight. And you could just, he was walking Frankie down. And if Frankie went for a takedown, he grabbed that guillotine. He let him know that grip strength and how tight it can be, and he let him feel it. But he's going forward and he's throwing everything, and he just manhandled Frankie. He grabbed him like sin collar grip, and then hit that uppercut like he was a nobody. He just forced it on him. You know what I'm saying? If you watch, he babied him. He's he big brothered him, and it's interesting. He was able to do that. But when he fought Max, you could just see a lot of things were exposed. The wrestling wasn't as good as it should be. He was able to take Max down 2 times in that fight. But you could just see it's very forced and all this stuff. And he's just not he just showed a lot of lack of stuff. And he was just susceptible to getting hit, and that's the biggest thing. He's been very susceptible to getting hit. That's the biggest problem in this fight, and for him, the only way I can see him winning this fight against Korean Zombie is if he, Zombie does this thing in his fights where actually his last time he's ever done was against Yair Rodriguez, where he clinched up a lot, and maybe he could catch him in the guillotine. And that's about it for Ortega. That's the only way I can see him winning that fight. But But to Korean Zombie, like, you look at what he's been able to do. You look at his Dustin Poirier fight. You look at some of his older fights, right? His Dustin Poirier fight, and then to his Jose Aldo fight. You look at those fights. Dustin, he kind of dominated Dustin in the grappling sense. It was a fun fight, though. It was a good competitive fight. He was able to dominate in the grappling sense, able to take him down at will. And then he'd hurt Dustin with his power. And then Dustin would go for takedowns, and he was able to catch Dustin. And in the grappling sense, I think Korean Zombie can hold his own. I don't know I don't think he's the better grappler, but in MMA, things they're a little different, man. Like, you get hit when you're a black belt, you get hit the first time you turn into like a brown belt. You know the phrase, right? But you look at his fights, man. You can just see the evolution. Like, before, he was more of a grappler, and you see Jose Aldo was able to kind of dominate him and was kind of obviously was the superior wrestler, and was just a little superior in the boxing sense, and he was just able to outbox him. And then right when he tore his shoulder, man, Jose Aldo was so savage. Oh my God, he started kicking the shoulder, and then he took him down. And he literally, what he did was, this was the message. He grabbed the wrist and basically pulled it behind his arm and just started wailing on him. Like, it was one of the most savage shit I've ever seen in my life. So Jose Aldo was able to dominate him in that kind of sense. But besides that, he takes his leave. He comes back and knocks out Dennis Bermudez. You could just see there was a switch. He wasn't just more of a grappler with heavy hands. He had better head movement. You look at the way he snuck in that, like, he jumped in with that uppercut, and he kind of did a shoulder roll, and then bah, he hit him with that uppercut. You can see he was improving, and that, like, this mattered to him. And then he does fight Yair Rodriguez. And I'll talk about that Yair Rodriguez fight. I kind of felt like, I thought it was a close fight. I think unfairly people think that was like just, Korean Zombie won off like four rounds going into the fifth. No, it was a close fight. But I thought he was he was leading the dance, and I thought he was on his way to winning that fight. Even on the judges' scorecard, he was gonna win that fight, and it was a competitive fight. But he did a lot of things where he went back to the old Zombie, where he was rushing in and he was trying to clinch up, and he was doing a lot of he was leading himself to be open for certain areas, and obviously Yair caught him with that fucking elbow, which was so clean, right? But you can see right after that fight, and he fights Renato Mokan, you could see the switch, and everything switched, and he got that. When he slipped his head and went for that overhand right, he knocked him the fuck out. Y'all, he knocked him the fuck out, man. And same thing with Frankie. He broke Frankie. That was a brutal beating he did to Frankie. Same thing. That speed. And you're looking at what I'm talking about. If you look at some of the fights I'm bringing up, Dennis Bermudez, Renato Mocaño, Frankie Edgar, this all happened in the first round. When Brian Ortega fought Clay Guida, he had problems in the first round. When Brian Ortega fought Cub Swanson, he had problems in the first round. Even when he fought Max Holloway, he had problems in the first round. Y'all, this is going to be a beating. I promise y'all that. Like, Ortega really he's tough, man. I'll give him that. He's tough. But this is going to be a beating, and it's going to be a beating that's well deserved. I'll say that. And I'm going Korean Zombie. Just, you look at all the tape, it's like you just see the same hole the same holes over and over and over again. He needs to it's so weird. He needs to get hit to fight right. Like, it's so weird. Like, and I'm not talking about Ortega, but it's like he gets better with and I don't think he has better cardio than Korean Zombie. I don't think Korean Zombie is gonna let him get away with that. But this could go to decision. But I'm saying second round TKO. I think ground and pound. I think he knocks him down. I think he wails on him. And yeah, I'm going second round TKO. Just if you look at just the stats and everything, it's not gonna be a good day for Ortega, man. And I don't really care. I'm sorry. Like, I kind of, you got this coming, bro. Like, you shouldn't have slapped his translator. You shouldn't have been talking like this. And I get it, or maybe Zombie might have started it, but, you know, I think the hype ends next week, man. I really do. I think this is Ortega. You had a good run. Bro. But it's over. I think Korean Zombie is going to be the next title challenger, and I think that's fair. I think that's better. Like, you know, at first I wanted Yair and Zabit to get that next shot, but they need to actually fight each other. These guys fight. Please fight. Please, no shenanigans go through. And I want to see Korean Zombie versus Alexander Volkanovski, man. I still want to see Eugene Behrman versus Eric Albina Part 2, you know? But, yeah, that's it for me. eBay Predictions out. Go follow my Instagram for eBay Predictions. eBay Fight Predictions. Go follow my Twitter. I think my handle is Effison_Mbe. Go follow that. You know, I'm going to post some pretty good clips of this fight. And yeah, it is what it is. See y'all and love y'all.